yet again, I'm on my way to that little bay that I like on Sand Point, and this time I'm hoping that I'm actually going to get a sunset. So I've not actually managed to get a sunset at this place yet, so fingers crossed. Had quite a riveting conversation with a sheep in this spot last week. He just wouldn't shut up. I completely agree. Said I agree. Have you got nothing better to say? Seriously? Some lovely soft shadows out on the peninsula there. That's the good thing with this place. It is there's lots of little hills and peaks, so when the sun goes down you get those nice long soft shadows, which really adds to the texture and the depth. Let's hope it stays that way, or let's hope it gets better. Looking over to Middle Hope, I can actually see quite a few people over there. Now I'm hoping that they're just over there and they're not down in this little bay, because that would just ruin my evening. No offence to people like, but you know, in the current climate I prefer my own company. I don't think there's much of this bay left when the tide's in, so let's hope that works in my favour. I'm actually quite excited to see what it's like at high tide. Like I said, I think we're probably about 20 minutes after high tide, and it was an 11 metre, so it should still be fairly good. At least once I've seen it, I'll be able to visualise it for the future. Then I'll know what to expect at both high tide, low tide, and I've shot it at mid tide, so until you actually see it, it's difficult to visualise. They're just coming up on it now. Alright, so this is nice. Sadly there's a couple of fishermen in here and another couple behind me, but I think worst comes to the worst, where I'm sitting is pretty good. Let me show you. Do you know what? I think for once this might actually be working. It's got really nice soft diffused light. I'm not sure if it's going to hang around looking at the horizon, but at the moment it's absolutely beautiful. I'll try and show you the composition. Always get too many reflections on the back of my camera, but with this shot I'm using a 24mm. Let's just have a look what I'm at. Yeah, so 24mm. I'm using a circular polarizer, not polarized very much, just a little bit, and a 0.9 medium graduated, just to hold back that sky, because there is still quite a few bright spots in there. So sorry, I'm losing concentration because I'm trying to catch the waves. But yeah, so I'm shooting at half a second, which That's about all I want really. I just want to catch the movement. I don't want to smooth it all out. I want you to be able to see, you know, see a bit of detail to the water. Some nice waves coming in. Hang on. I mean, look at this light. Absolutely stunning. And it's lighting up the peninsula really nicely. So I just took a couple of verticals of the same or similar composition, but what I actually did was tilted the camera back to include more of the sky. This is quite nice, but the trouble at the moment is the dreaded has happened and the sun is about to disappear. And I think, to be honest, that's going to be the end of it. The colour's gone off cooler now, as you can probably tell. But I'm pretty confident that I've got at least one, maybe two shots to show you. So let's get back to it before we lose it all. Alright, so we're definitely losing the light, and I think it's going to be gone for good. So that's a real shame, because it started off looking real good. But I'm not going to give up. Not yet. I might just change my approach. I'm not sure to what yet, but you know, try anything, right? No, I might put the drone up and call it an evening, to be fair. But hopefully I'll have something to show you. I've taken another shot here. It's not going to be as warm, and yeah, the light's not so great. It's going pretty flat now, but I'll show you it anyway. So it's using these rocks here back into the water as it comes up the channels. So yeah, using those the lines in the rocks and the little channels where the water's coming in as kind of leading lines, and then looking on to the point over there. Sadly the lights died away and it's not looking so glamorous anymore, but I don't know, we'll see. So I know I said I was going to do a little feature about image stacking, where you know, you take two exposures, one for the sky, one for the foreground, etc, etc. I decided not to do that because after trying it, it's not for me. So I consider it to be a right faff, to be honest, and it's got its place, don't get me wrong. You know, if you haven't got filters you can do it, but I don't want to show you something that I'm not comfortable doing. So that's the reason I ditched that video. And the other reason why I'm not going to adopt that idea is this. Using the image blending, it's a physical impossibility to be able to get long exposures. Well, no, it's not. No, yes it is. No, you can't get exposures like that without using filters. So, you know, you don't necessarily have to use grad filters, although in this case it definitely helps. But you know, you don't. There's no way you can carry out shots like the one I showed you without the use of filters, because you just can't slow the shutter speed down enough. It'll be far too much lighting. It doesn't matter how much you stop down, you won't get anything like that. I mean, what I'm doing at the moment is sort of 2 minutes plus. I'm using a 6 stop, a 0.9 medium grad and a polarizer at f16 24mm ISO 64. So this is basically my attempt at rescuing the shoot, basically, from the failed sunset. Just checking my time. I'm running a stopwatch here. So yeah, let me show you what the sky is doing. See, it turned into that, so the sun has disappeared behind that thick cloud, and there's going to be no colour whatsoever. So I've adopted a different attitude by shooting long exposures. But hopefully I've had something to show you. I will give details of the images in the video. I'll put the settings up next to the images so you can see, and the filters used, etc. And hopefully that will give you some ideas, and you know, of how I did it. Well, I didn't get what I wanted, but I'm still calling this a success, because I think I've got a couple of nice shots. So I hope you enjoyed the video. It's the first one in a while. Hopefully soon be able to get back to doing a few more. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Maybe drop a comment if there's anything you want to know. Hit subscribe, and don't forget the little bell, because you'll get notified every time I upload a video then. And I'm going to go and die in a heap somewhere for being so unfit. So I'll see you next time.